The definition in England of scout has an excellent word counterpart in Ukrainian, plastun. The main difference between us plastuns and scouts is the focus on Ukraine and patriotism. To remember and to preserve the past, but to look forward to and live for the future, is the motto of the Ukrainian scout organization Plast. In today's show, we're going to find out who the plastuns are and what they actually do. Hello. Hello. What are your names? What will you tell us about today? I'm Nadia. I'm Natalia. And I'm Vyacheslav. Today we're going to tell you about Plast, Ukrainian scouting, what it teaches a person how to survive in this life and nature, how to live with boars, and other adventures of Plast scouts. Plast is a Ukrainian national scout organization whose goal is to promote the development and self-assessment of young people on the principles of Christian morality. It aims to educate youth as good citizens at national and local levels, as well as foster social leaders. Plastun comes from the word ranger and dates back to Cossack times, and basically it means ranger. It is Ukrainian scouts, the members of Plast organization that focus primarily on their development and change in the society around them. We arrange camps in the outdoors and popularize traveling and a healthy lifestyle. Plastuns are different from scouts, as they have a Ukrainian direction. And Plast exists not only in Ukraine but also abroad, and prevails especially in expatriate diaspora communities. The idea of Plast is that of fostering good citizens in a good country. Thanks to the patriotic part of education and constant self-improvement, Plast brings up leaders in society, leaders who are ready to take responsibility and promote the development of oneself and the country overall. Officially, the date of Plast's establishment is 12th April 1912, so Plast turned 107 on 12th April of this year. Plast is progressing dynamically in Ukraine. It has a presence in all regions and has 8,500 members all across Ukraine. It is better known in West Ukraine, less so in the East. I joined Plast 6 years ago as a juvenile. My friend took me, and I was more surprised by the community. They were loyal friends with whom I both could travel with heavy backpacks and sleep in tents, and go to the cinema, or simply relax with. I came for the community spirit and got it. I found people with whom I can survive anywhere in Plast. Most of all, I like the fact that I can constantly grow and continually try myself in new fields of activity in Plast. My parents took me to Plast in 2011, and I was so occupied for 1 year, but then I had a pause. And only when I was 15 years old did I realize that I needed. I came back myself, motivated, and since then I have been working actively in the organization. I think I was too young to understand all its aspects. Activities and hobby groups suggest partial self-organization. In other words, when children start to organize something for themselves, those hobby groups, for instance, they decide what they're interested in. I wasn't that involved, and neither did I want to take responsibility. At the age of 15, I thought that I can try many interesting activities only when I'm ready to take responsibility. And it was one of the reasons why I came back. The second reason was to change my social circle. I wasn't happy with it, and I could improve it by returning to the organization. At present, I'm working with several activities in Plast, classes with children, mentorship. I like it because in the past my mentor dedicated his time to me. So I want to pay it back. Secondly, there are projects that are not associated with my mentorship. For instance, I lead a bike camp.
Наприклад, я організовую велосипедний табір.
I'm 23 years old, and I've been a member of Plast for 13 years. My sister and friend inspired me to join. They were active participants of Plast and asking my mother to take me there because I saw how much they traveled around Ukraine. My sister and friend inspired me to join. They were active participants of Plast and asked my mother to take me there because I saw how much they traveled around Ukraine. I joined the Plast group in Avdiivka, near Donetsk, and that is why, for me and my friends, the one in center in Donetsk region was also a center of all things Ukrainian. For us, it meant we discovered Ukraine, and Ukraine discovered us. So I guess that was the primary reason that attracted me to the organization and keeps me there to this very day. I work in the office now. I am responsible for regional development, and I still have the motivation to spread Ukrainian culture in those regions where it is absent, and to give as a present to people and children that which Plast once gave me.
Plast взагалі це організація, яка не має вікових обмежень. Діти можуть прийти від самого
Plast is an organization that has no age limit. Kids can participate from a very young age. This is the youngest group. We call it nestlers. Kids who are under the age of 6. They're usually the kids of plastun parents.
Зазвичай вони займаються гуртком.
Older kids from 6 to 14 years of age are members of the Novobranstvo squad. They're usually involved in groups. In other words, they're newbies, aged from 5 to 10. They have a mentor, the person who works with them and supervises their activities. The next squad is called the Youth Squad, 12 to 18-year-olds, who are regarded the brightest and experiencing an array of adventures during their Plast experience. They can also be split into groups of up to 10 people, aged from 12 to 18, and their mentor will be someone who is 18 years old. The senior Plast squad is made up of 18 to 35 years olds, who often become educators, mentors, and managers who organize projects. Once they get to 35, they become seniors, and the activities of the adult squad in Plast get to be very similar to those of the senior Plasts.
Найстарший улад в пласті, які, в принципі, дуже схожа діяльність, як і до старшопластунів.
Plast is referred to as a big game because many of the activities we have in the form of a game. We learn a lot both about the idea of Plast and about Ukraine overall. It is thanks to games, weekly study groups, our weekly meetings, group or hive meetings with mentors. They discuss topics they are interested in, and usually this is in the form of a game, so it won't resemble a lecture, like they came, listened, and forgot it all. This is more like practical implementation. The lecture usually takes about 2 hours. They begin with the official opening, where everyone stands and sings the Plast anthem. Begin the meeting with the Plast motto, Skob. Everyone then holds their meeting as per the topic of their lecture. The obligatory part of the program is group play. The lecture must have the form of a game. They sing, talk, and meeting is closed officially. We often have выходки, which are various types of training for plastuns. It may be mentor programs where people learn how to work with kids.
І вишкіл виховників, де люди вчаться, як працювати з дітьми. І це може бути як і вишкіл
and lessons about astronomy, where we teach about stars, space objects, or we can even learn about project management, where we write out our projects and then implement them.
Де ми прописуємо свої проекти, які потім реалізовуємо. Так як я в Пласті вже 6 років.
I've been a member of Plast for 6 years now. I spent every Sunday for 6 years by taking classes where I learned something new from my mentor. I'm a mentor now, and I have a group of children with whom I share my knowledge.
І зараз я намагаюся передати.
Thanks to Plast, I've learned how to take responsibility, organize projects, divide my time and work with different people and in different fields.
І організовувати проекти.
I believe that my major achievement is communication with unfamiliar people, as earlier I was afraid of doing this.
Найбільшим моїм досягненням є те, що
I'm so grateful to many people that this skill is easy for me now. My vocation is associated with communication.
Це не є чимось складним і моя діяльність зараз навіть в житті – це саме комунікації.
Життя в природі, так, я навчився дуже багато.
Living with nature, yeah, I learned a great deal. I'm a child of 21st century. I never spent much time in nature. Thanks to Plast, I traveled to every corner of Ukraine, to places which I probably wouldn't have visited.
Яких би я міг і не бути. Розпалювати вогонь, так.
I know how to light a fire. Yes, set up a tent, but I think that this is not the main thing.
Що я навчився брати на
The main thing is that I learned how to take on responsibilities and acquire various management skills. I acquired them during the period when I learned how to get self-organized. Through all kinds of administrative and training events, I acquired management skills that will help me to better implement my initiatives.
мені краще реалізувати мою ініціативу.
З найцікавішого, що мені запам'яталося.
What can I say about the most interesting and memorable part? I can tell you about practical stuff in Plast at the very beginning. It was the experience of tent building.
Я свій перший
I made my first tent and slept there, while wild boars roamed around.
навколо мене ходили
I did not actually sleep that night, as the experience was so exciting for me, one that taught me how not to be afraid and to take risks. There was this psychological aspect, and the practical one was to sleep anywhere. That is the number one skill.
переночувати, це навичка номер 1. Друге таке більш психологічне,
The second psychological aspect is perhaps the sense of duty.
такі, перше, це відчуття обов'язку не тільки щодо себе,
Not only with regard to oneself and personal development, but the sense of duty to others and care for the whole of society.
і не тільки людей, а в принципі загалом суспільства. Самостійність – це
Independence is one of my top skills that I acquired at Plast. Also, flexibility. I always had it thanks to my parents, my education, and my childhood. Plast made me more flexible towards the surrounding that you occupy at a given moment.
гнучкість, в принципі, до оточення, в яке ти потрапляєш.
Обов'язковим елементом пластування є табори, які
The camps that I held every year, often during summer, are the mandatory part of Plast, though there are winter camps too. We're going into the mountains or forests and live in a tent.
живемо в наборі.
Every day we have a specific program according to the theme of the camp.
Залежно від теми табору. Тобто, якщо це табір мандрівний і,
If it is a Roman camp and its major goal is to tell the history of the Ukrainian insurgent army,
наприклад, у нас є такий табір
then we have a camp that goes every August to the Carpathians.
то, звичайно,
And all the activities are aimed at learning about its history, traveling, and the like.
лекції були на тему історії УПА, мандрівництва і так далі. І потім ми 6 днів мандруємо.
Then we travel for 6 days with backpacks. We cook for ourselves, build a fire, sing by the campfire.
Найбільш запам'ятований мій табір.
Most of all, I remember the camp associated with Harry Potter. It was called Bohuslav Hogwarts, and we lived every day like in Hogwarts.
Кожен день в Гогвартсі. І, звичайно, в цих таборах ми вчимося.
Of course, during these camps, we learn not only to have fun and live like in a fairy tale, but to build a fire, cook, set up tents,
Грати намети. І
and listen to lectures that are given. They can help you in real life. This can be time management or good communication skills with people.
тайм-менеджмент, або як правильно комунікувати з людьми.
Я дуже добре пам'ятаю свій перший.
I remember my first camp quite well. It was summer 2012, and there were 1,000 camp members present.
Табір, де було 100 учасників. В 2012 році
2012 was the year when Plast turned 100 years old. And after all the camps ended, they organized an anniversary global Plast meeting.
міжкрайова пластова зустріч. Тобто, якщо простими словами, то це пластуни.
In other words, Plast groups from all across the world, from the diaspora, Ukraine, came together for this meeting to celebrate this anniversary. The weather was not pleasant that year.
Погода нас дуже не порадувала.
Heavy rain and stuff. We spent half the time indoors in the village club. We held a standard program for a camp.
Провели в сільському клубі. У нас була
Different mini-training sessions, games, songs. The only difference was that instead of tents, we lived in the village club building.
Ми замість в наметах жили в сільському клубі.
Перший досвід завжди
My first experience was the most vivid. It was a sports camp, with a major focus on sports, of course. We did different sports every day.
види спортивних.
Why do I remember this? Because of muscle soreness. I felt every single muscle in my body.
Чула, скільки у нас м'язів різних в тілі. І друге, напевно,
The
найголовніше.
second was perhaps that I was just 14
Я з маленького містечка Авдіївка.
and from the small town of Avdiivka, eastern Ukraine, and I went to Lviv with my friends for the first time.
Бо 14 років, і ми без
Both of us were just 14. Without any supervision, we traveled together through all of Ukraine for the first camp. We got our bearings wrong a bit, but we managed to use our phones to get back on the right track.
будемо їхати далі.
So there was such intense emotional stress and physical stress. It was a whirlpool, an emotional storm.
Фізичні переживання, оце такий вирбув таких емоцій.
It was a pleasure meeting you guys. Bye, the feeling is mutual. Thank you for spending time with us. So sign up to Plast.